I'm Myda from the Shared Edge, and that's Suncear from Suncear Wellness. Together, we are the Edge of the Sun, and we get together to basically work with our energies, work with blockages. We use astrology, sound, reiki, meditation, contemplation, discussion to just get in tune with what's going on underneath the surface and what's keeping us from really living the life that we're meant to live. Whoop, sorry. um, and this month we'll be working with, what are we working with again?
Great
Managing
expectations.
expectations. There
Yeah.
we go. So Sincere will talk a little bit about that, and then also how it sort of fits into our astrological time right now, and then we'll do a little bit of sound meditation and a little discussion after that.
Thank you, Mida. Hi, folks. So we hopped into Taurus season last week, and if there's anything you know about Taurans, is that they are stubborn. If you don't know anything else about them, you know that. And I was thinking about this because I think we all kind of carry a little bit of Taurian or Taurus's energy in us. We all have a tendency to want things to go our way. And it reminded me of a time during our retreat where Maida and I were in a sweat lodge, and the shaman who was just spewing off these, gems left and right, just dropping them so easily. And we're just sitting, listening, sweating. And somebody had asked him a question, and he responded with, expectations are the killer of happiness, I believe was the direct quote. And there was kind of a hush that came over the space in a way, because I think we all just recognize that we all have these expectations and how they do get in the way of what we are desiring, what we say we desire. So the quote kind of came up a lot of times again after that. And so it just again made me think about how we say we want something, or we stake our claim to something, but then when it's delivered to us in a way that we don't think that, it's like if it's something that we don't envision for ourselves, we kind of get caught up in the vision of it. We want to control it, and if it doesn't match up to what we think it is, then somehow we don't see the blessing. We get upset, we tend to not show the gratitude around it. And so we take ourselves out of the moment because we are waiting for this specific thing to show up, as opposed to, some other things that just might be just as great or even better. And so again, it reminded me of the Taurus energy and how we all, again, sometimes have our stubborn ways with things. So that's what we're going to work on today, the great expectations. We're just going to uncover some of these, ways that we do this, and, work on eradicating them.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough work, especially in the realms of manifestation or when you're setting intentions and affirmations, because yes, we want to be clear and specific about what we want, but universe, like when you're calling on the universe and the boundlessness of the universe, it has different ways of giving, right? And providing. And so because we're humans and we live in kind of a pretty narrow framework, we are asking something, and the universe is like, great, here, this is what this is to me. And you're just like, this isn't what I asked for. Right? And but see all of this? And we're like, but no, it's supposed to look like that, right? So it is kind of funny in so many ways to just play around with, what your intentions are and start to broaden them so that when it is actually being met, you can actually embrace it, right? So yeah, I'm
Exactly.
always working with that too. And I come from two parents that are Tauruses, so I know a lot
Oh,
about.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Goodness.
it's interesting.
Yeah. No, I do that as well. I think that's very common, actually. We
Yeah.
just don't see the beauty in
Yeah.
what the universe would like to give us at the time.
Totally. Totally. So that's what we're going to work with today. So it'll be again about like 5 to 8 minutes of just um, listening to the sounds that I'm producing, the vibrations that Sincere will be providing through her Reiki, and just tapping into what intention you are carrying and what expectations are around it, and how we can start to break through that. So Again, about 5 minutes, so get yourself comfortable. If you don't have time now, do come back to give yourself that time to really tap in. As comfortable as you can be. So lying down is always recommended. At least that's my most comfortable position. So I always encourage lying down and closing your eyes. Just take a deep breath in through the nose. Let the mouth open as you sigh the breath out. And take another one, deep breath in. And a big sigh out. And just allowing yourself to land. Especially if this is in the middle of your day. It can be hard to sort of tune out the external noise and drop in. But as best as you can, just allow your body and your mind to settle into the current moment. And if you are working with any specific vision or intention or goal, allow that to rise to the surface of your attention. And by all means, get as specific and detailed as you can about it. This is the language we speak as humans. We're very visual. We put meaning into everything. Create a story around it. What it looks like, what it feels like. So to allow all of that, the best of your humanness and its goal setting, to be present. That's how we speak. And take another deep breath in. And exhale it out. And then let the sort of vision of it diffuse a little bit. You still feel its power, its presence. But almost as if it's dissolving, the details of it are dissolving. And all you're left with is the basic essence of what that vision is. Like its purest form, without expectation or limits. So in a sense, it's returning to the infinite space from which it emerged and found its way through you. Trust the universe. It got you this far. Billions of years of evolution to bring you here and to carry you forward. process, trust its ways, that it brings you what you truly want in its most purest essence. It might not look like what you imagined, but when we drop into how that feels, we then feel the nature of our intention. And take a deep breath in and a long, slow sigh out. And just taking a moment, sitting with the feeling of freedom, of joy, perhaps without expectation of what needs to happen or should happen, trusting that it will in its own way. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes.
Nice. Well, unsurprisingly, I saw the heart chakra. There was like pinks and greens. Heart chakra is very related to Taurus energy, or Taurus is related to the heart chakra, I should say. So that really made a lot of sense. And, a lot of times when we think of the heart chakra, we really think about love. And, of course, that's part of it, but it's also about giving and receiving. Your heart center is the vibrational epicenter. It's where you vibrate from. It's like you're feeling. And so if you're feeling as if you're desiring something, you have to also allow it to come back to you as well. So there's the output of vibrational energy, and then there's or vibration, I should say, and the input of it as well. And so I think sometimes we're not allowing ourselves to receive because, again, expectation. So that's what came to me. And then I saw a lamb that was like frolicking. It was actually really cute. And I think the lamb was there to bring us back to a time when we were kids and we didn't have so many expectations. We just playing with a rock was like fun for us. You know what I mean? It's like we just didn't have all these extra things that we think we're supposed to have. I also saw a keyboard, which I thought was kind of out of place, to tell you the truth. I don't know. I was really trying to figure out what was going on with that. I don't know if it was, again, play. I don't know if it was, enjoying, because, music is there to be enjoyed. So maybe it's just about enjoying whatever, enjoying the beauty around you, I guess. I mean, I know keyboard and to beauty doesn't necessarily make the jump, but that's the only thing I could think of was like when you make music, though, music can be a really beautiful thing. So I saw a light beam that was coming down, right? And it almost looked like, you know, the American version of Jesus. Okay, whatever. I don't know, but it just, I don't think of, I don't want to get too deep into this, but that's not what I think of when I think of God, by the way. But I think that Jesus was there because of Christ consciousness, which is the I am presence. And that is knowing that you're deserving of having things. I'm assuming that's the reason why that vision was there. If I think of anything else, I'll put it in the comments, or if anybody else has any thoughts around that, let me know. But in any case, so there was this beam of light coming down, and then there were these bricks that were being made into a wall. So that's an indication of the universe is trying to give us things that we deserve, yet we're not letting it in because, again, we have a specific vision of how we want things to look. Then I saw suitcases, and immediately I heard baggage. So I don't think it's about freedom. I don't think it's about, travel. I
Traveling.
think it's about, what'd you say?
I was like, oh, maybe it's about traveling. And you're like, nope.
Oh yeah, no. No, it was very clearly baggage. So I mean, I heard that. So it's like letting go of, again, and it was old too. It was like this old ass suitcase, not even modern looking at all. Like you had to pick it up with the handles. So it was like there's a lot of stuff that we're carrying around that, again, is not allowing to, whatever to come through. And again, that could be part of the expectation. And then I saw a clock, which was an indication of time. Sometimes we feel like we're running out of time, and that's the reason why we're not letting it in. And then I was reminded that I wanted to mention this in the intro, but there was a book that I read called, I believe, I meant to look it up. So if this is wrong, I'll put it in the comments. But I think it's called Surrender to Yes by Michael Singer. And basically, this is a person who, meditated, made a vow that he was going to say yes to everything that came across his path, regardless. The guy goes away for a few weeks, comes back. There's a woman building on his property. Okay. And he's like, okay, I'm mad, but I made this vow. And then it ended up being like this sanctuary. He created a sanctuary that people came from all over the world to come to. He became a millionaire, multimillionaire, so he just said yes because the assumption, I guess, or his view was that everything that was put in his path was there for a reason. So it's just a lesson to learn. I'll be honest in saying that if I found somebody on my property, that would be a no for me. Okay, not a yes. That would be a no. So anyway, I say all that to say that, but I did take away from that a lot of times there are things that are in our past that look like pains in the asses or whatever, but they're lessons, medicine, and they're a pathway to being happier or to finding your happiness, I should say. So
Yeah, I
that's
mean, it's a hard practice too to kind of figure out those boundaries, right? Like between no and yes, and like, is this no, like, need to be here, or is it something that's
yeah,
past? So it does take a little bit of digging, like, um, not to necessarily, I mean, hey, if you want to try say yes to everything, that'd be that's maybe for a day I'll try that.
I know, right?
But I don't think commit to like a year. But I don't know. It is kind of an interesting experiment, and or even if you do kind of go in with the expectation or whatever, or the sort of commitment to say yes, and then when you do want to say no, just start to explore what that is, as opposed to the opposite. Because I think we always do. We always start with a no or a maybe. I think maybe is almost the worst, right? Like, oh, maybe. It's like, okay, so if you don't want to say yes or no, say one, and then kind of uncover what the opposite might show, right? So at
Yeah,
least you're opening yourself up to what is possible instead of like no or yes,
right.
all the spaces in between and around.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it makes sense to me.
Just different ideas of how to explore it, because especially these days where our boundaries are really high, I think. Those walls are really high, especially when we are like working on computers, or we're like behind a handle or a tag that's not, it's like a lot more anonymous. We can sort of like wall ourselves in, and it's good to like, bring the wall a little lower. I mean, have a wall and that's maybe, but just still kind of look around and see everything that's going on and let that in. Because
No, no, you're right though. I mean, we're living in an increasingly scary world at times, so I can understand how our boundaries are so high. But yeah, I don't know. I try to find the gratitude in things, or at least the lesson.
yeah,
You
totally.
know,
Yeah, yeah.
it takes an enormous amount of trust,
Mm-hmm.
which I admittedly do
Enormous
not
amount.
have, but I'm
Yeah.
working on it. Would you say?
Enormous amount, right? Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. It's the trust in the unknown,
yeah.
which is even harder.
Hmm. But that's probably 99% of the universe, right? Is
Exactly.
you know, like we live in our own little tiny, tiny, tiny speck of it, and then we assume that that's all there is, and there's actually nope. There's a lot, a lot more.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
No, it's true.
yeah. Cool.
Yeah, well,
Well, if any of you have anything to share, please do, send a comment or a question. We'd love to and keep the conversation going. It's an interesting one, and we've been having this conversation since the retreat and beyond. So it's I think especially in Taurus season where we're working with expectations even more, and trying to manifest, trying to kind of figure out.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Yep, definitely. Taurus is definitely, I'm glad you said that. Just to piggyback off of that, Taurus is definitely a manifestation sign in the zodiac. I mean, anyone can be really, but this one is really about bringing things earthside. So, yeah, this is a time to explore these things.
cool.
All righty, everybody. See
Well,
you
thanks
next
for joining
time.
us. We'll see you next month.
Toots. Last Thursday of every month. See ya.